Welcome along. Now, we are bringing to you an NRL Final Special. We're going to be covering all of the NRL Finals games right up until the very grand final. So we're going to be doing that pretty much every Sunday here for you on our full-time podcast. Right, let's get straight into it. Of course, we'll start off with the first game there, Rino. How did that game go? I know for sure that it didn't go too great, eh, bro?
No, well, if you want to go back to the first game of the finals, I think we briefly touched on that yesterday. The Roosters were too good for the Rabbits. Obviously, they just showed they're too classy there. Then you moved to last night, mate. It was a couple of big games. We had the Raiders up against the Storm, much favoured Storm, but also we had the Sharkies up against Manly. The results were not many would have picked it unless you're staunch fans. Yeah. The Raiders upset the Storm, and the Manly team sent Paul Gallen home into retirement.
Indeed, they did. So, what happened, JT? What happened with our Storm? With the Storm yesterday, bro?
Well, let me start by saying there was some fireworks before the kickoff. With as the players are running out onto the field and have the fireworks going off, and poor old Joey Leilua, who I'm not a big fan of, copped some shrapnel in the eye, a bit of a war wound. So he was. It caused a bit of controversy in regards to whether it was a free interchange or one they had to use up. So he ended up had to use interchange to get him off. So young Bailey Simonson, son of former Waikato and Māori All Black Paul Simonson, came on and scored a try in the first couple of minutes of play. So that sort of set the scene for what was about to unfold. Canberra definitely dominated the first half, and Melbourne just sort of struggled for position, struggled for field position, and just clinging on by the skin of their teeth. And in the second half, they came out guns firing and jumped out to a bit of a lead, but just weren't quite good enough or clinical enough. They weren't Melbourne enough, in fact, I think, to put the Raiders away in a great last-minute play by that man, Joey Leilua, ran across the field, skipped across outside a couple of defenders, and turned the ball back into the Englishman, John Bateman, scored under the posts. Kick over, game over.
Yeah. And that's all she wrote for that particular game. Now, Rino, what did you reckon of that game, bro?
Yeah, exactly the same. Look, if you had ball in hand, look, Josh Adokar, the play that JT talks about, if he just held onto the ball, it pops out, and like you said, Leilua runs across, flicks the ball back inside. She's pretty well over, gets the kick, and that's it. 12-10 says the final result. And, the Storm fans are lucky. Their franchise, minor premiers this year, get to live another day. But the Raiders... Mate, this Raiders team, I was watching a good interview prior to that with Glenn Lazarus, who had been there since 1989, and there's some good times here with the Raiders. He's there working as the ambassador now. Went through with the Broncos as well, spent some time there, another premiership there. And then also up to the Storm, another premiership there as well. So it was good to hear him talk about the one of the legends of the games and talk about that. But no, a good game, mate. Good on the Raiders, eh?
You were saying that before, though, that... Some of the refereeing calls didn't quite go the Melbourne Storm way, though, Rino?
Yeah, it could have been one of those controversial ones with the touchy and so forth and so forth. But the rest will be the rest at the end of the day, and they could either make or break one of the final games, and everyone talks it up at the moment. But the result will stand. You could go on about the referee or even the touchy, but 12-10 is a result. Storm are a champion team, and they'll bounce back next week.
Craig Bellamy obviously won't be... all too happy with his players, JT?
No, I watched a bit of the press conference, and he said the lack of intensity in that first half certainly came back to bite them on the backside. So look, he's professional enough. They'll have another shot next week against either Parramatta or Brisbane.
Yeah,
I'm hoping it's Brisbane, because then the game will be up here in Brisbane, so I'll get a chance to go along. But a tough one. I'll wait the winner of that one too. They've got to play the Roosters in a preliminary final, whereas the Raiders now await the winner of Manly and South Sydney. So look, it was Reno touched on that controversial touch judge decision. I don't think that cost us the game. That was, one of those things that either you get or you don't. Certainly, it was the wrong decision, but I'm not going to say it cost us the game. We had our chances right throughout that whole game, and just couldn't put the icing on the cake. Both sides, their calls go against them, and I've read lots of stuff on social media. Storm fans in particular blaming that decision. But look, if you're not good enough to win a game and one decision goes against you, then you shouldn't win in the first place. So yeah, no hard feelings towards the Raiders. They're a great side. The three Englishmen, Bateman, John Bateman, the hooker Hodgson, and the other second row, I can't think of his name at the moment. They're in good form. Jared Croker's inspirational at centre and is the captain of the side. Mate, the young fella's Chance Nickel-Klokstad had a good go last night, and right across the board. And the old man at the middle, Josh Papali, he was solid again as usual. Look, they'll go a long way to. I think they'll get into the grand final. They've got the easy side of the draw. They've only got to beat either South Sydney or Manly, so I think they can lock in one spot. Whereas from my side, we've got to go across the other side of the draw, like I say, beat either Brisbane or Parramatta, depending on today's result, and then play the Roosters in a preliminary final. So a tough side of the draw for our boys, but the good thing is, like Rino said, we've got another life, so bring on next week.
Absolutely. You're obviously very happy that that Paul Gallen, you get to see the back of Paul Gallen last night there, JT?
Oh, mate, it's sort of tempered the loss a little bit. I'm sure all the New South Wales and Cronulla fans will miss him running the ball up on the second play and again on the final play. Just a total ball hog. But in saying that, mate, one of the toughest guys to ever play the game, 348 first grade games, almost a 20-year career or something. And old Peptide Paul, no, he'd be certainly either missed or, like me. Yeah, see you later, mate.
Well, what did you reckon about that game there, Reno?
Yeah, well, I didn't see that result coming, mate. And I thought Manly were done and dusted with a couple of the key marquee players out, and we touched on this yesterday, and I thought it was all going to be the Sharkies, especially for Gallen and his retirement. But, hey, the Eagles, we talked about them weeks ago. They could be that team to watch out for, and they'll come through for old Desi and the boys, and, mate, they live another week. Old Paul, he's going to be spending quality whānau time, most probably, and just reflecting on the great career he's done. 340 games came to an end, and he'll be floating around more so in the media world, I would guess.
You obviously surprised too, I suppose, with that final result there, JT?
Yeah, totally. Like Reno said, we talked about it on yesterday's show, and some big names are out for Manly, namely Tom Trbojevic, Martin Tapo, and Curtis Sirenen. So look, they brought in some young fellas to fill in the breaches, and look, I must take my hat off to Adam Fanua-Blake yesterday. He was strong up the middle, got a couple of quick plays for the first try, and then in the second half just busted through the guts of their forward pack and scored one himself. So yeah, look, Api Korosau on the back of that. Ruben Garrick's kicking was sublime, 4 out of 5, and poor old Cronulla just had no answers. Sean Johnson, I think he must have had a Warriors jersey on underneath the Sharks one, because he brought that sort of form to the table. But yeah, look, I think Cronulla were a bit shell-shocked by the early onslaught from Manly, and Manly just too good.
Yeah, they did seem a bit too good there. And you are right. One of the things that I think Warriors fans have always known was the consistency of Sean Johnson, Reno?
Yeah, totally, mate. We expected so much from this young kid, especially when he came through the younger ranks and then got up into the first grade team, and week in and week out, pretty tough to do. And he can be sublime. He showed it with some of his early form at the Sharkies, and just wasn't one of those days. He could hopefully turn around and do again. You touch on the Warriors, mate. The NRLW got underway, the season opener, and the Warrior Girls under Georgie Hale is captain for the team. All these 4 teams in this competition, a lot of debutants, all the youngsters coming through. But the Warriors girls had a good win against the Roosters at Amy Park. The much favoured Roosters, by the way, because last year in the inaugural year they were the hot favourite. But a 16-12 win, a hard-fought win for the Warrior girls, and good on them.
Yes, great to see them getting their season underway. Of course, they've got another game. We've got another game. Is it the Broncos? They go up against the Dragons later on today, Reno?
Yeah, totally. Broncos, class act, defending champs, much favoured. I think everyone talks about the Dragons as the team to knock over for the girls comp, but we'll see what happens. And I'll be watching that later on the Savo. Look forward to it. And, just enjoying watching the Warrior girls. And, Keithy, you might be right, 2019 for the girls team.
Indeed. Now, one of the things that, especially when it comes to women's rugby league, are the big hits, JT? There are some huge hits in the women's game, bro. Hey?
Yeah, totally. I think maybe because a little bit slower around to play the ball, some of the forwards are a bit slower, so easier targets, but they definitely, mate, there's no holds barred in some of these women's games, and it's great to see. So, Yeah, bring it on, and I'm totally on that Warriors bandwagon. Go the Warriors! Woo!
And of course, well, we've got one more NRL game, of course, which happens today. The Eels against the Broncos. I'll be honest. I think that's going to be quite a really good game. What do you guys reckon? You first there, JT.
Look, I think Eels go in as favourite. They're hard to beat at Bankwest Stadium, their new home ground out there in Western Sydney, and I think they've only dropped 2 games there out of the 6 or 7 they've played. And right across the board, they've got some good strike power. Gutherson, Micah Sevo, Wonga Blake Ferguson, Mitchell Moses up front. They've got some good forwards in Paolo and Sean Lane come across from the Roosters, and Manu Mo, Nathan Brown, a bit of a grub, but in saying that, the Broncos forward pack are, no slouches with Fafita and Haas, and even at Lodge is going all right, and Joe Ofahengawi. Then, at the back, they've got a couple of inexperienced halves. They've got Alex Glenn having to play out in the centres, Darius Boyd and Jake Turpin. Anthony Milford at fullback, given, the opportunity, he can certainly open a game up. But I think Parramatta will win that one, and I think they'll win it in relative comfort. Although I'll be cheering for the Broncos because, like I said, if the Broncos win, then Melbourne plays them here in Brisbane next week, and I'll get the opportunity to. Nice. I'll get the opportunity to go. So, it's all about me, boys.
Now, which is quite a turnaround, I guess, for the Eels. Weren't they at last place last year, or they were pretty close to it? Weren't they, JT?
Yeah, mate, they're coming off the back of a wooden spoons, and they've got their tails up too, I must say. They'll be very, very confident of winning this one, and then obviously, I think they'll be pretty confident about beating us the following week if they go that far. So, look, they've got some firepower out wide, no doubt about it. That Micah Sevo, he's an absolute beast, reminiscent of the other Fijian winger they had a couple of years back, Semi Radradra. So, yeah, I think they'll win this one, but like I said, I'm cheering for the Broncos because it's all about me.
What do you reckon? What do you reckon, Reno?
Yeah, well, hey, we talked about some of the teams we thought they should have won yesterday. Didn't. So I'll go with the Broncos. I know they're much favoured. The Parramatta Eels are the favourite team, but mate, I'll go for the Bronx, eh? So JT can sit there and roar at the game. He'll be loving it. And when you take a look at the class of the two teams, whoever will beat next week, Class X. But both teams got a lot to bring to it. Had an up and down season, so it will be a tough one. Blake Ferguson, if he doesn't win, he'll most probably break down and be real emotional.
Yes.
As he always is. He's an emotional guy that brings so much to the game. And look, he was a former Raider, went to the Roosters, and he's playing in the top 8 now and for the Eels. So he had to be a big one, mate. But yeah, go the Bronx, eh? Go the Bronx just for JT. It's all about him. but as
Thanks,
our other mate would say, he's not with us. Watch this space.
Oh, yes, that guy that's not with us. Anyway, that pretty much ends us off here on our full-time NRL Final Special. Don't forget to go onto our full-time Facebook page where you'll get to see all of our full-time episodes as well as the latest ones. And then you'll also get to see some of the places where you can go on to where you can actually listen in to or subscribe to our podcasts. So that is us. Thanks very much, Reno, for joining us once again this weekend. Look forward to catching up with you, on Wednesday, eh, bro?
Yeah, look forward to it, mate. Always a pleasure to catch up and talk with you guys, especially when it comes to the NRL finals. Love it, mate. And everyone else, enjoy the rest of your weekend.
JT, it's always a pleasure to be able to catch up with you, bro. You have a great week, eh?
Yeah, thanks, boys. Hopefully I can catch you on Wednesday afternoon as well. And talk about some fireworks. Go Joey Leilua.